In the world of pop culture, Comic Empire of Tulsa is a local landmark with a long history of feeding the habits of four-color enthusiasts from a few different generations and many walks of life. Certainly not the largest shop in town, and not stocked with the latest figures, games, cards, or videos, except those sold on consignment by fans trying to pay for their hobby. Comic Empire is a pure comics shop, dealing exclusively in comics and graphic novels. Sure, you can order any item you want out of the previews catalog, but don't expect owner-operator Michael McCormick to regularly stock all of the latest comics-related doodads and trinkets, or order a crate full of the latest hot figure to sell and gather dust on a shelf. The man loves comics. The world and history of comics is what he knows, lives, and breathes, so that's what he deals with. Of course, like most of the colorful characters found under its roof, Comic Empire has an origin story.
Comic Empire opened in June of 1976, although we're not exactly sure of the day. It's the 13th or the 15th or the 16th or something, so we can't remember. Larry Scott, who actually founded the store, couldn't actually remember what day he opened, and I don't remember either, so but it was in the middle weeks of June.
Yeah. Having heard a Comic Empire ad on the radio while driving in Tulsa, Mike made an immediate U-turn and arrived at the shop on what turned out to be its second day of business. But how did he go from customer to owner?
It was Thanksgiving break, and I had come home. I was living in Texas at the time, and I came home, and he told me flat out he was going to close the store at the end of December. Well, that was like 6 weeks, so I was like, wow. And he offered the store and told me how much it was, which was nothing. And so he really was ready to close. So I crunched some numbers and thought about it a little while. And I wasn't married at the time. I had no attachments. I thought, why not? Go for it.
For any shop owner who's had a business open for as long as Michael, there's one obvious question. How'd you survive the 90s?
Mainly because I've always run the store with pretty tight ordering. You know, people will talk, oh, this is going to be a hot book. Well, I don't order 100 extra because 99 times out of 100, guess what? The book isn't hot, and I would have eaten 100 copies of this book when it didn't sell. Kids come in, or I'll get 15 phone calls in about 30-minute span. Something's blown up on the internet and everybody wants one. Well, quit listening to those people, okay? Because most of the time it's not going to help you out. You're going to spend your money, and then a year from now you're going to be wondering, what in the world did I spend this much money on this book for? Because now I can't give it away.
Another characteristic that makes the Comic Empire unique is the eclectic range of music Michael plays in the shop.
Eclectic mix, classical, rock, jazz, blues, whatever. I'll put it on. About the only thing I've never played in here, I think, is Lou Reed's Metal Machine music, but I could probably put that on and people probably wouldn't even notice because they hear such weird music in here anyway.
Of course, as a comic shop owner, Michael has his favorite creators and works.
I don't know, especially right now I'm reading the Hal Foster's Prince Valiants, which are always in my top 5 greatest comics ever made. They're just so beautiful to look at. Even if you never read them, you can just look at the pictures for hours. They're just stunning. And then I've always been partial to Will Eisner's Spirit. Ever since I first found it in the 70s with reprints, I pretty much devoured. I'm glad DC finally reprinted those in their archive, gave it the format that it deserved, because it's also in one of the top 5 all-time greats. The Cole Plastic Mans are good, but those are all old guys, you know, and so, you know, really for modern readers, they're not going to care. They're going to care about Plastic Man, they're going to care about Spirit, although they should. And Prince Valiant, all those names mean nothing to somebody under 30. They'll Google it and look it up and go, oh yeah, okay, boom, and move on. let me go get these 8 variants for this new book that just came out. So, which is kind of where collecting is, which is kind of sad, really.
And what about the quotes over that wonderful wall of comics?
I can't remember how they started. It seems like Larry had one up here, and I don't remember now which one it was. I thought, wow, what an interesting idea. And actually, originally, when I thought about it, I thought, well, I could fill this up with quotes. And I thought, well, I'll just replace them as I get new quotes. Well, over the years, I quit looking for new quotes, and occasionally one will come my way, and I would do, but by and large, they've been pinned up there for years, and I've really forgotten about them. But people notice them all the time, and especially new ones will come in, and they'll all like, oh, I love your quotes.
Once or twice, rumors have gotten started about the Comic Empire's ultimate demise. But Mike assures customers there's no need to worry at this point.
One day we were just talking about, kind of like we're doing right now, just talking about retiring. And somehow word got out, as rumors will, naturally, usually wrong. I got 2 or 3 phone calls next day saying, oh, I hear you're retiring, and what are you going to do with the stuff? I'm like, hey, I'm not retired. What? So people, but they can relax. I'm not planning to retire anytime soon.
In the end, as to that one particular quality that gives the Comic Empire of Tulsa its peculiar charm, well, it remains elusive.
For such a tiny place, when you walk in, you think you're going to see nothing, and then you're just totally swallowed up by comics as soon as you walk in. There is something about this place. I've said for years this is a rat hole, but it's a rat hole with some ambiance or something. I don't know what it is, but there's something. People will say that, they'll look around, they'll say, there's something about this place, and I'm like, yeah, I know what you mean, but I don't know what it is. It may just be all these books, giving off this wonderful comic aura that's like you walked into comic heaven or something.